All right, welcome to Unit 2.5, biconditional statements. We just learned about conditional statements, which is our if-then statements, our if-p-then-q statements. So biconditional is the next step. Biconditional means it's true in both directions. If p, then q, and if q, then p. So a conditional statement and its converse, conditional statements and its converse, its switch, are both true. A conditional statement and its converse are both true. It's true in both directions. Right? Symbolically, this is represented as P, if P then Q, and if Q then P. Right? It can be written as P to Q with an arrow in both directions. It goes back and forth. They both have to be true. It has to be true in this direction and in this direction. Right? This is read as P if and only if, it felt wrong, Q, right? So P is only true if Q is true, and Q is only true if P is true, thus they have to be true, if and only if they are both true, right? Truth value. Biconditional statements are true when both the conditional and converse are true. They both have to be true to be true. They both have to be true to be true. Alright, the directions say, given the biconditional statement below, write both the conditional and converse. Determine the truth value of the biconditional. Explain why it's true or false. Sorry, we're going to write the conditional statement, determine if it's true. We're going to write the converse, determine if it's true. In order for the biconditional to be true, both have to be true. Right? And we're going to explain ourselves along the way. We're going to explain ourselves. Two angles are supplementary if and only if, there's our key term, the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. So let's write the if-then statement. If two angles are supplementary, then, their measure is 180 degrees. Alright, so the conditional is our first, it's our if-then. If two angles are supplementary, then the sum of their measures is 180 degrees. Right? Simple enough. We just did this in 2.4. Right? The converse is the switch. So it's going to be if two angles measure 180 degrees, if two angles measure 180 degrees, then they are supplementary. So the converse, the flip, all I did was take the statement and flip it, is if the two angles measure 180 degrees, then they are supplementary. Now, in order for us to decide the truth value of a biconditional, we have to determine if they're true or false. So, the conditional, if two angles are supplementary, then their measure is 180 degrees. True. If the converse, the flip, if two angles measure 180 degrees, then they are supplementary. Also true. If both of them are true, then the truth value is true. And if it says y, say because both the conditional and converse are true. The conditional and converse are true. Right? It's true because they're both true statements. So we're taking what we just learned and checking to see if it's true in both directions. That's all. Alright, 2. I wear my snow boots if and only if it snows. Well, there's my if and only if. So I know it's a biconditional statement. Now we have to decide if it's true. So if I wear my snow boots, then it snows. That doesn't sound very true. Let's see if the converse is true. Right? We're going to flip it. If it snows, then I wear my snow boots. Then I wear my snow boots. Well, the second one sounds a lot more true. Let's think about it for a second. If I wear my snow boots, then it snows. Not always. I mean, maybe sometimes. Just coincidentally. But if it's not always true, then it's false. If it snows, then I wear my snow boots. Yes? So you could call that true because logic would say if it snows, you should wear your snow boots. But in order for the biconditional statement to be true, they both have to be true. So the truth value is false. And why? Because the conditional statement is false. Right? So first you have to write the conditional, then you have to write the converse, and then you have to determine whether or not each statement is true or false. If they're both true, then the truth value is true. If they're not both true, then the truth value is false. Alright, so you do 3 and 4, and then when you're done, I'm going to pair you up. And you're going to do a pair activity where you do a couple of these together. And it's going to look something like this, where you have to show me the symbolic version, and then you have to use these two statements, right? You have to write it as a conjunction, write the statement, and tell me its truth value. And then you have to do that for all the different possibilities, the conditional, the inverse, the converse, the contrapositive, the biconditional, right? But I'll put you in pairs so that you can help each other out. So if you finish quickly with this part, then whoever finishes next will be your partner. If you want a specific partner, then I suggest you wait until your partner is finished. That does not mean share your paper. When you're ready with your partner, come up and I will give you one paper for 2 people. And you can work together. It'll be due at the end of class. Good?